This Sunday, on episode 3 of Ion Dependency, reality radio at its best.
This Sunday, we take one more look at the elephant in the room. Customer service in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, it could always go somewhere else.
As well as uncooperative, belligerent customers.
Are you the manager? Good morning. So what they're telling me that I have to remove my hat to deal with business.
We will also look at food prices and the challenges of keeping up with a constant rise every Monday morning. Listen live this Sunday from 10 a.m. on I-95.5 FM or watch live on the I on Dependency Facebook page or YouTube channel. I on Dependency. We don't just share stories, we change lives.
This Sunday, on episode 3 of Ion Dependency, reality radio at its best.
This Sunday, we take one more look at the elephant in the room. Customer service in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, it could always go somewhere else.
As well as uncooperative, belligerent customers.
Are you the manager? Good morning. So what they're telling me that I have to remove my hat to deal with business.
We will also look at food prices and the challenges of keeping up with a constant rise every Monday morning. Listen live this Sunday from 10 a.m. on I-95.5 FM or watch live on the I on Dependency Facebook page or YouTube channel. I on Dependency. We don't just share stories, we change lives.
This Sunday, on episode 3 of Ion Dependency, reality radio at its best.
This Sunday, we take one more look at the elephant in the room. Customer service in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, it could always go somewhere else.
As well as uncooperative, belligerent customers.
Are you the manager? Good morning. So what they're telling me that I have to remove my hat to deal with business.
We will also look at food prices and the challenges of keeping up with a constant rise every Monday morning. Listen live this Sunday from 10 a.m. on I-95.5 FM or watch live on the I on Dependency Facebook page or YouTube channel. I on Dependency. We don't just share stories, we change lives.
This Sunday, on episode 3 of Ion Dependency, reality radio at its best.
This Sunday, we take one more look at the elephant in the room. Customer service in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, it could always go somewhere else.
As well as uncooperative, belligerent customers.
Are you the manager? Good morning. So what they're telling me that I have to remove my hat to deal with business.
We will also look at food prices and the challenges of keeping up with a constant rise every Monday morning. Listen live this Sunday from 10 a.m. on I-95.5 FM or watch live on the I on Dependency Facebook page or YouTube channel. I on Dependency. We don't just share stories, we change lives.
This Sunday, on episode 3 of Ion Dependency, reality radio at its best.
This Sunday, we take one more look at the elephant in the room. Customer service in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, it could always go somewhere else.
Ion Dependency with Garth and Natasha.
Reality radio at its best, where every life is a biography.
Sundays at 10 a.m. and exclusively on I-95.5 FM.
And streamed live on the Ion Dependency Facebook page and YouTube channel.
liberty, but somebody could write a better anthem for we. From the love of liberty, but somebody could write a better anthem for we.
How come Indians and Africans here hate each other so bad?
And every creed and race find an equal place,
but not one white-collared criminal languishing in remand yards. In Sipepe have no Syrian or French Creole. You ever see a Chinese police fighting crime? Israeli curry and callaloo, they spread the table and show we cosmopolitan nature in its prime. He may be forged from the love of liberty, but somebody could write a better anthem for we. A national anthem should reflect a nation's people. When it plays, we all must feel passion and pride. Nobody walking around, nobody drinking. Patriotism must rise up like high tide. Like a national call to war, it should raise everybody's voice and unite every living soul under one common cause. It's not too late for revision. Given all that I have outlined, we change the Trinity Cross, the anthem could redesign.
Side by side we stand.
Then stop playing the fool. The national anthem for any country is a serious national tool.
And every creed and race
to find an equal place, we have to love each other despite the genetic pool. In TNT, we only fighting down each other. Remember, a house divided will never stand. At some point, we must all gather round the table and show the world a modern nation in command. We may be forged from the love of liberty. But a CLGB could write a better anthem for we. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And welcome to our Dependency. Hope we didn't shock you with that introduction there. But
no, we like to do it different.
It just happened
spontaneously. Spontaneity is the spice of life. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to our Dependency, and thank you so much for joining us on I-95.5 FM and on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Remember to like and subscribe where necessary.
And that introduction there was part of our customer service to you. And if you want to hear more of that kind of show, then Classic Rousseau is the place to be. Mm-hmm. We'll be at the Diego Martin Central Community Center this afternoon from 5. So come down. Those of you living in the Diego Martin area, Diamond Vale area, Classic Rousseau will be down there. Full cast, led by Senior Man all rounder. We'll be at the Diamond Vale Community Center this afternoon. So don't miss it. Come out. Some of you not coming in Port of Spain, so we're bringing the show to you. All right, so how have you all been? Thank you very much for joining us, those of you, our loyal and faithful listeners and followers. We are here again this morning. And as you realize that, during the carnival season, we tend to keep it in a certain vein, because some of you just waking up, some of you just, everybody, some just left home to go party somewhere. That's how it is until things settle down again. Then we get on to the serious stuff. But
you have to keep focused.
Have to keep focused. So a lot of you call us, text us, message us to let us know that we want to continue the discussion from last Sunday. So we are doing that with some additions. We have some stuff added to the PLR this morning. So Natasha, you let the customers know what they're going to hear and see today.
Yeah, so we are continuing our discussion, but we are shifting gears a little bit. We want to shift our focus to now the consumer or the customer part of that phrase, customer service, and kind of delve into what the roles and responsibilities are of customers, because we also have things that we need to do as we engage with people who are in business, as we engage with the service providers. We also have our part to play, and we have to examine ourselves. As much as we want to have good service when we go to purchase or do business with an entity, we ourselves have to know what is required of us as consumers, as customers in that exchange. And we have some anecdotal things to share as well in our own experience, just as consumers going into the grocery and buying necessary items, what we have noticed about the prices of food for human beings, and in our case, food for our companion animals, which is a real bugbear. Let me put it that way, because in some instances we were discussing yesterday, God, that it's often cheaper to feed yourself than it is to feed your companion animals, which is ridiculous. And comparing the kind of prices that we saw while we were abroad and the prices that we came home and met for these items, it really boggles the mind. So
let's start with that. A tin of cat food, folks. It's a little tin, the tin like the tuna? Right,
yes.
Like that.
Yep.
We saw that at Walmart for 90 cents for one.
Yep.
In some supermarkets, it's $14 for it.
Or 15, here. Close to 16 now.
Close to 16, and it keeps going up.
Yep.
Right?
It used to be 10.
Yeah.
And now it's basically 16.
Yeah. And we would like to know, as we start with that, how are you out there faring? And mind you, we're going to open up the lines earlier for you, right? So that you can vent. But we would like to know, how are you all faring out there, especially low-income people?
Yes.
And these supermarkets and groceries continue every Monday morning to add prices on. I don't know for what. I don't know what is the reason. Rabbit Dipty continue to give us a set of googly gook about, freight and all of these things,
yes.
and they promise to drop. But they ain't dropping nothing. We know that, right? What's hurtful is that the only entity that never suffered during the pandemic were the supermarkets and groceries. They never suffered. They can't say, as a matter of fact, they eat till their belly busts, according to what we see on the ground. They eat because at one time the Prime Minister allowed them to open 24/0.
Yep.
So they made a killing for the COVID. A killing, a literal killing.
Yep.
But yet, they still find a way. Imagine a dozen eggs now in some supermarkets have gone up to $26, $27. A block of cheese that you could have bought for, there's no $11 cheese again.
No.
None. So everything now, the same size that was $11 now gone up to $14.
Yep.
And, you know, Trinbagonians, we have to take our hats off to each other, you know, because it's a miracle that people are not losing their minds here.
Well, they
in
are
Trinidad and
in
Tobago.
some aspects, and it is. I think this state that we are in is indirectly contributing to crime. You know, indirectly, I say.
I'm not giving an excuse for it.
No, it's not an
It's
excuse.
not an excuse for it.
It's not an excuse.
Right.
But they are social determinants of crime. They're
And these are
social
studies done
determinants
around the world. We're not making this up.
of health as well, because if you notice, the cheapest things on the shelf and in the stores are the most unhealthy foods for us to eat.
Thank you.
You could go by a fast food outlet and get quote unquote meal for a certain price, but when you go to the grocery to buy the elements to make up that meal, you're spending twice as much. That can never make sense.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous, and sometimes I feel to cry when I look at, I say, but these people have no conscience, they have no soul. You know, it's as if they get a message that Trinidadians, all Trinbagonians going to migrate soon, so let's raise the prices as high as we could so that we can make enough money before they go. That's how it seems to me, because why? What is the reason? And then I remember Dale and Tony interviewing the same president of the Supermarket Association, and he said at some point, yes, we're going to drop those prices.
prices will
And
go
drop
down.
what? They've gone up since then.
Of course they have.
You know, and no, they never suffered. The supermarkets never suffered during the COVID. So I continue to ask myself the question, what is the reason? What reasons can they give us for raising these prices? Constantly. Every Monday morning you go back, something is going up by $2, $3, in some cases $5. And are they really concerned about the low income people? Are they concerned? And we could sit here and say poverty is no excuse for crime. We could sit here and say that. But then try telling that to the youngster who growing up, waking up every morning with a sugar pan with only one grain rolling around in it. And there are those who will try to not commit crimes. There are those who will. As I'm saying, we are not condoning committing crime. We will never do that on this radio
Certainly
program.
not.
We will never do it. There's no reason for it, because, trust me, when I came out of prison, I didn't come out and meet $1 million. And I had to navigate my way through this system here with people who were put in positions to help people like me, who refused to help people like me. I had to face that. But I never applied for no food card. I never applied for anything. I decided I am going to fight it, because I could use a weapon very good. Trust me. I could be a hired gun if I want. I could sell drugs if I want, because I know where to get. I decided I was not going to break the law again once I walked out of prison. And that was that. I decided that.
And the thing about that argument about poverty is real, is a real thing that people experience. And dismissing the impact of poverty on people's lives is really disingenuous to me. Because we are not in these people's shoes. We are not in their shoes. We don't have to make the kind of decisions they have to make every day. A single mother with 3 or 4 children to feed, who is making less than $3,000 a month, who is probably working two or three jobs. How do we? The larger question is, how do we make life easier for her? How do we ensure that she has a stable place to live? her children have access to education, and they have access to food and clean water. Those are the basics.
Because there were studies done. They show you that people who can afford, their children do better in the education.
Of course.
And those who cannot, because there are some children who go to school hungry.
Yes.
And when they behave angry and they lash out, they don't say that, but that is the case.
This
but
is
then
why
again,
we have a school feeding program.
Right. But then the civilian conservation, we have to, Lord, I keep praising the fact that this government kept the CCC on the ground, Natasha, because 8 regions, 80 plus children can actually get a stipend. And some of their families depend on that stipend, and they help them out. I swear, when some trainees have to leave CCC, they cry, because there are a number of the households that depend on that stipend to keep them going.
Course.
And sometimes the children, in some cases, you have to commend the government for that. You have to, because the crime situation would have been worse if it weren't for those programs and keeping Vision and Mission open. And we have to tip our hat to them for that.
And the reason why so many young people are grateful and families are grateful for programs like the CCC is because of the lack of opportunities for sustainable employment for these young people. Where else are they going to turn?
But
unless
the CCC prepare them for that, though.
Well, exactly. So that is a stepping stone. But obviously, everybody who needs it cannot go to the CCC. Right?
So
but to go back to the point of today's program is, what do we do as consumers, as customers, when we are met with either the bad service or the high prices? What do we do? What are the alternatives? How do we shift our own thinking to become a little more self-sufficient and to support businesses that are trying to support us?
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we thank you for joining us this Sunday morning as we continue with part 2 of this discussion. We also want to focus too as well on the customer and how they behave when they enter businesses.
Yep.
And we have a short video to show you. This happened in Jamaica, but it happened at Flow. And there's also, we have a whole section for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. As we like to say, when the police service do well, we have to commend them for what they do and highlight it as much as we could. Some of you may have missed it, so we're going to show you it. Right? There was a raid at St. Paul Street the other day, and there is something significant I want you all to see about that, what happened in that raid. I think it's a step in the right direction for the police, and we want to commend them for that, but we'll explain it. And then there's a short video of a young man who's praising the recruiting of the police service and how they handle it. You will hear about that. And then we have some photos from the published by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. If you have not seen it, we will show you this morning with citizens who want to become police officers. They all tick yes on the box,
yes.
Until they get the kit. They don't get the kit yet. And if you see someone here you recognize who should not join the police service, it is up to you to make that phone call. It's as simple. Because...
So we assume all of these people have the 5 passes. They have their qualifications in order, right?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't know that part. They wouldn't say that part, right? By revealing their qualifications. However, we know what the criteria is to join any arm of the protective service now, especially the Defense Force and the police service. However, the police published the pictures, for those of you who didn't see it, because not everybody reads newspaper.
Yep.
So it's on their Facebook page as well. So if you miss it, you could go back on the police service Facebook page and see it as well. All the faces of the people who want to become police officers are there, and you can see it. So we're going to show you it again. If you recognize anyone, you know what to do. All right? Because there are things that happen when recruiting officers go around to communities to ask questions about people who want to join different arms of the protective service. Now, there are some people who in these communities genuinely know that the youngster involved in darkness, as Tony liked to say.
But they won't say anything because?
Well, one, because they don't know how confidential that information would be.
Right.
Even though they are assured, some people still don't trust. And then there are some people who think that the force, the service or the defense force could change a person.
Yes.
They can't.
Yes.
And I want to let you people out there in the communities know right now, the police service and the defense force and any armored protective service is not a babysitting service. So if you know, and you genuinely know, someone is about to get recruited and you know they're involved in crime, you just as culpable as them.
And not only crime, but, other personality traits that may not be suited to a job like a police officer, And some people perhaps know that the person may be on the wrong track, not in the right headspace or whatever, but they don't want to be a contributor to this person not getting this opportunity as well.
Yeah, but if you know the person is not suited for the job, for the career, and I'm trying it's not a job, it's a career.
Yeah.
And if you know someone is not suited for career of a police officer or a member of the defense force or any arm of the protective service, it is your duty to not support that. Because what we will have is what we've been hearing for the last few years. Remember, a prison officer was right here when he said there's a part of the prison service that's nicknamed St. James Barracks.
Yes.
Wrap your mind around that. There's a part of our the prison service that's nicknamed St. James Barracks.
Yep.
Gary, before we take a break, there are people been commenting on the food prices. Let's give them an opportunity. So, folks, we could take about 10 calls. And Gary, in the meantime, you have any word from the police about your niece?
Not a word. Up to this
Remind
day.
the listener where this happened again.
In Tobago.
In
Tobago,
Tobago.
the incident took place in Tobago New Year's morning, Ole's night into New Year's morning. And the stabbing took place and the child went to the hospital. She was admitted into the Tobago hospital and she was discharged out of the hospital. And up to this day, the police has not contacted her.
Well, that's strange.
Take a report on the incident.
Then the hospital, it's supposed to start with the hospital,
Well,
not so?
again,
The
if you
hospital
go
is
into
supposed
the
to
hospital,
contact the police.
if you go into the hospital with stab wounds and so on, the
Yes.
police is supposed to be there to find out what it is going on.
Because if you go with a gunshot wound, that's their job too.
Right.
Correct.
So if you was involved in some murder or something like that, and the person you went to kill dealt you some stab, and you end up in the hospital to go and seek medical attention as the perpetrator.
Yes.
You understand where this is going?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
No police never come. You went, you rest easy, you get your wounds attended to, and you are discharged from the hospital, and you are able to walk free.
No, I'm calling on the commissioner in
Or the
Tobago.
person in charge in Tobago.
Mr.
Whoever it
Collis
is in
Hazel,
charge.
I think is his name. To please contact Gary Barrington and find out what's going on here because
They don't have to contact me. They could contact the person who was involved in the stabbing. I don't have anything to do with it. I just love
Right.
being a voice
It's
in the
your
wilderness.
family member.
It's my family
Yes.
member, my
Right.
sister's, my little sister's daughter.
Wow.
And a report was made, a call was made to
Of
the
course,
police when
of
the
course.
incident happened. So whichever station was it has a report of an incident taking place, and the victim is yet to be contacted, and that needs
And the
to be
perpetrator
addressed.
is walking about
And the perpetrator is
normal,
clear.
like if it's nobody's business.
There's no consequence.
So I guess,
Okay.
who is your family? Who's your family member? Or who you
so
know?
So just an
As
update.
with most things in this country.
Just an
unfortunately.
update. I think someone find out. I don't have permission to call her name yet. If she does, I will see where the information came from. But the information is the medical is yet to be received from the investigator by the investigator. So once this is concerning you, Gary, and your family member.
The medical is to be.
Yes, I'm sure this is what this is referring to.
Wow.
Medical
and-
from the hospital, you mean?
Yes, I'm aware that it was the police who conveyed and it's the police who carried the victim to the hospital, and that a statement was recorded from the victim. So the information is that the medical is yet to be received by the investigator, and of course, once that is done, which will reveal the extent of the injury and assist in determining the charge. So the police is working on it, Gary, and let's see how it will turn out. All right. So at least somebody listened to us last week, and thank you very much, ma'am, for sending this information.
Thank you so much for your time.
It would help, though, if the victim herself was directly contacted while the investigation is happening. Yes, you took a statement, but And thanks very much for that update. But, you need to stay in touch with the victim and let her know how things are proceeding.
Well, the victim did give a statement. That's what it
Yes,
says.
that's what I'm saying. But
let's put that to rest.
Let's see. Have any go for food prices?
239.7.
Yes. So we let's. How are you all faring with the food prices in Trinidad and Tobago? And we have people declaring insane profits every year.
Yes.
And what is sad is that they still decide, even though they're making all those insane profits, to still raise their prices.
Yep. And what do we as consumers do? What
do you do?
What can we do?
There's no Housewives Association in Trinidad and Tobago anymore.
Blame it on the war.
Yes. So what to do?
But then again, we don't have that many housewives anymore either. But
yeah, because there was an active Housewives Association.
Yes. But there's no real. I mean, we have a Consumer Affairs Division, yes, under the Ministry of Trade and Industry, but there's no real consumer activist organization or movement in Trinidad and Tobago.
There's
that
none.
Would spur.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, Kat and Natasha.
Morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning.
I just want to talk about the food prices, please.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Right now, anybody buy a newsday, today's newsday, and will see a certain grocery that have very good bargain. You're getting these certain things for $20, different bargain. And by me, where I live in Arima, it have a certain grocery every day. They have very good bargain. You're getting 4 of different things, 3 of different things, 2 of different things for $20. You understand? I think they open a new store in Aranguez also, and they're having Shogwana. I don't want to call the names of the groceries, but if they check the papers, they will see the groceries and the bargains there, because I just gone to the one by me in Arima. Very good bargain there. Okay?
All right. Thanks very much. We hope that. Oh, good morning. We have someone else. No? Oh, I was just going to say, I hope that the goods that are being sold are not expired, because I had an incident the other day going to the grocery trying to buy some mushrooms. Looked at the label, because of course I, as a conscientious consumer, I'm looking at labels, right? Looked at the label and saw that the mushrooms were expired 3 days before I was looking at it on the shelf.
A lot of people buy a lot of expired goods and don't realize it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And something like mushrooms is not something you should eat when it's expired, right? So if I hadn't been diligent to read the label, I would not have known that.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Natasha.
Morning.
Yeah, I was now going to call you and tell you to check those expiry date on those same bargain prices.
Mm-hmm.
I guess stick with 2 cases of soft drink with that. They buy one and get one.
Yes.
And all was flat. 2 cases was flat.
Wow.
So I couldn't carry it back and get any thing this, so I'll stick up with it. So when you get the bargain, check your expiry date.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. And and that's the problem. Hello, good morning.
Gata Natasha.
Good morning.
I am 71 years of age, and I am not going to go in the grocery and pick up things that close to expiry date. I will never do that. I, Gemma, the female DJ, first female DJ in Trinidad and Tobago, Swanky Gemma. You understand? 71 years old now. And I would not go into the grocery and pick up grocery that expire or close to expiry date. I will never do that. Okay, I'll go on. Let's see.
Right. And again, there was a complaint from a citizen about not getting a refund recently. And we want to remind you all again, that it is a crime for any business to tell you they are not refunding your goods. Once you have a receipt, once the product is in the same condition that you bought it, you have a right to a refund as stated by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs. Natasha, could you share that again, please, for the public?
Yes. The Adverse Trade Practices Order 2000 ATPO specifically prohibits the display and publication of statements, whether on business premises, advertisements, or receipt books. The terms no refund, no exchange, and no refund on sale items. So they can't display or publish this fact. And of course, they cannot refuse a customer who wants a refund, an exchange, or a refund on sale items. They cannot refuse you because it's illegal to do so.
Okay, you heard that, folks? So keep that in mind. And is there a number to call that if the Consumer Affairs Ministry wants to investigate someone who continues to do this, continues to carry out this practice?
Yes, I will look for a number and let you know.
Right. So but the food prices in Trinidad and Tobago, I could say I really feel it for low income people and who cannot, really afford to buy healthy food, especially. Mm-hmm. It's sad. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, guys and Natasha.
Morning.
I'm saying that woman is talking about a REMA, but what about the rest of Trinidad? I mean, even if she has that facility in a REMA, what about those of us who live in San Fernando and Princestown and Shogo?
Yeah.
We don't have that facility. It is hard. It is really, really hard.
And you know what?
I agree, and especially for pensioners who want a fixed limited income. How you manage it?
And retirees, from the service,
Yes.
and it's a free fall here because you could imagine a bottle of water that's supposed to be in some places $3, but then a bottle of water could go up to $6-7, and they're looking you in the eye with a straight face and telling you that.
Yep.
And who goes around to check these different establishments and monitor their prices? And is there a charge for people overpricing their goods? Is that something that is a thing under the Consumer Affairs Watch? I hope.
They do apparently have a hotline. There's a hotline for the Consumer Affairs Division. It's 800-4277. Good luck getting through on that line, though, because I have tried it before and did not get through.
That's part of our customer service that needs to change too. When they say, leave a message, nobody gets back to you, and you will ring and ring and ring. And if you have a prepaid phone, you could finish out all your money trying to get somebody to answer your call in certain public service. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Pleasant day to you all.
Morning.
I just wanted to comment on a practice that is common, especially in the, what we call the shops, smaller shops.
Parlors?
What they do is that they buy expired stuff and they sell the expired stuff for the same price as the supermarket. Now I'm speaking specifically about condensed milk. So you go to them and you buy a tin of condensed milk, and when you open it...
Could you move away from your radio for a little bit? We get enough
sure.
feedback. Sorry,
Is
ma'am.
this any better?
Yes.
Yes, so when you buy the condensed milk and you open it, the condensed milk is brown and it is not flowing out of the tin. And then when you do look at the expiry date, you will see that it has expired a long time ago. So they buying that and selling it for the same price as the grocery. Yes.
Thank you very much. I have a little story about the condensed milk. This is one of unfortunately, my addictions, I have to say, because I cannot, I can't do without it, right? So I am a purchaser of one particular brand of condensed milk, right? I won't call the name of the brand because I'm a bit ashamed to say what it is. And when we visited Toronto, we went to a grocery, we buying up our stuff to eat. And the number of brands of condensed milk that were on the shelf, I took pictures. It was so astounding. And these products come from Vietnam, Malaysia. In fact, the one that I purchased, which was on sale, it was like $3 for 2 tins, was extraordinary. I mean, the quality of the product was extraordinary. So I am wondering whether some brands, some big, conglomerate, big brands, actually have a hold on certain products in that are available in Trinidad and Tobago. Because if we had a choice, you would go with either a cheaper product and still get the same quality, but you won't know if you don't have that choice. Because if it was up to me, I would buy that brand that we use in Toronto above the brand that I'm using now. I wish I could have brought home a case of it because it was good. It was a good product. And not from the usual suspects. who are, doing all kinds of nefarious things all over the world from this particular company. But just to say that we are starved of choice on the market in terms of consumer goods in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Take a couple more before we take a break and come back with the... Hello, good morning.
Morning, Mr. Sinclair.
Morning, sir.
And morning, Natasha, Ms. Sinclair.
Morning.
Well, I think you all should try to get the Minister of Trade on the program this year, Mrs. Gopi School. And in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of things online as well on the Ministry of Trade site, and some of the cheapest supermarkets and stuff, but people power.
Yes.
Is what we do exercise. The same Pennywise that people was complaining about yesterday was traffic jamming inside it when I was there. That's changed. There's a traffic jam inside the place. Excuse me, you're bouncing into people. So
and you see, and they know that.
Yeah,
they know that. It's our culture. They know our psyche. They understand.
Yeah. You probably, you see, and if we use that power that we have collectively, which is really I don't think we'll basically ever see that, because it's who better than who society we living in.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's the culture. People on what I've observed, Garth and Natasha, I just take a lot of time to look at things now. As I live on my own for a couple of years now. You see that social support that the government have? The pensioners, the whole social support, I think it's about $6 billion. That is so critical. And the month when I go to make my little groceries, it's not much. But the amount of elderlies, it warmed my heart to see the elderlies. And that social sector, that comes a particular time at the end of the month to make their groceries. If that is taken, I now understand the politics in that. Now looking at it in a very meticulous way. If that is removed or enhanced in one way, I believe it should be enhanced because of the inflationary tendencies. Income and people disposable income has shrunk, and people on fixed income has shrunk. But that is a critical, and people must take a look in the groceries at the people over 65 and the disabled and people around that time. How much of them is be fluctuating that grocery in order to put that food on the table is very critical for that sector society, and something, as I say, should be done in an incremental way from time to time in order to kind of lift people. They have done it with raising the ceiling. I don't want to say that nothing happened, but the ceiling have been raised with NIS, with the pensioners and stuff, that it could get a little more and stuff like that. So I don't want to put that out there that nothing hasn't been done by the government of the day to try to supplement that cost with the inflationary tendencies in groceries. But God, Natasha, when you all go into the grocery, brother, sister, look at that catchment of people that depends on our social sector, and you will understand how critical our social support is to Trinbagonian. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for calling. And so we're going to take a break. But before we do that, though, and we thank you all. Remember what we have coming up, right? We have that customer who was asked to remove his hat at a floor outlet and refused. And this is what some employees have to deal with on a daily basis. Sometimes some really rude people. And we have a lot of rude people here too. And yes. This is why some people at counters really put their gundy up early, because, so to speak, because they know what they're going to face on a daily basis. But then we're talking about training and how to deal with that. Well, this customer service rep did, I think, handle it really well. Yep. And again, we have a section for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service for you to see what we saw, and I was really impressed with that, and I wish it could continue. It's not the body cameras yet, but, it will get there, I'm hoping. But before we go to that break, listen to this, right? This is from a consumer who went to a gas station, and this is warning for you all, especially around this time. You revelers. And I keep putting myself in these different situations, right? If I was working in a gas station, I pretend I pumping gas and steal the money.
Yep.
That's easy for me to do, right? Because remember, I have an addiction, or there are some people who are natural thieves, because there are people who will do that on a normal head. But I am telling you, if I was working at a gas station and I found a way how to steal people's money by pretending to pump gas in the car, I would do it. So this customer, a few days ago, I pulled into a gas station in Dabody on the left side coming from Arima. Came out, paid for my gas, and the female attendant put in the gas. Well, so I thought. When I pulled off, I realized that my needle didn't move. Drove back and she was not there. Asked the other attendant and he said she walked up the road. I told him I was there a few minutes ago but did not receive my gas. He said he can't do anything about that, so I raised my voice and said I want my gas because I paid for it. He shook his head. I went inside and spoke to the person who collects the money. She was fidgeting, so I raised my voice again and started to quarrel, saying I want my gas because I paid for it and didn't receive any, and I asked for them to check on the camera. Then she told the guy outside to go ahead and give me the gas. I thought it was a mistake by the attendant until I saw two persons posted about the same experience at this same gas station. This could never be a mistake, and I can just imagine how many persons they have done this to. I've been using gas station for years, but not again. In the comments under one of the posts, I saw someone say that they experienced this at a gas station in Central. I'm not sure if it's a new thing, but be mindful when filling your gas. You must shut down if you think you got filled up and ain't realize you have no gas. So folks, those of you especially going out and fetting and and you're not paying attention, this is a very, very easy time to rob you at a gas station. So be careful. All right, let's go to that break. And when we return, we continue this journey. Thank you very much for joining us. You're listening to Dependency. We'll be back.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago, through the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons, continues to develop and implement effective policies and procedures to prevent and suppress human trafficking. To date, the National Task Force has developed 2 national plans of action against the crime of trafficking in persons. Trinidad and Tobago adopts a 4-pronged approach in its response to human trafficking. 1. Effective identification of victims and witnesses. 2. Prevention of human trafficking. 3. Protection of victims and witnesses. And 4. Prosecution of suspected traffickers. In the Ministry of National Security, we established a specialized unit called the Counter-Trafficking Unit to lead and manage Trinidad and Tobago's response to human trafficking. The Counter-Trafficking Unit works closely with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Immigration Division, and international law enforcement agencies to aggressively and proactively investigate and prosecute suspected human traffickers. Human trafficking is a serious crime. Rest assured, the government of Trinidad and Tobago and its agencies remain committed in the fight against human trafficking and will respond with immediate effect when the need arises.
We are the Counter-Trafficking Unit of the Ministry of National Security, Trinidad and Tobago, safeguarding human life.
Ion Dependency with Garth and Natasha.
Reality radio, at its best, where every life is a biography.
Sundays at 10 a.m. and exclusively on 95.5 FM.
And streamed live on the Ion Dependency Facebook page and YouTube channel.
After Ion Dependency, we are talking about consumer issues, customer service issues.
Okay.
Add food prices.
Bridget now said me something. Now, this is something to envy, folks. Dollar for dollar. Let's look at dollar for dollar, right? So he sent me some food prices out there in Boston, right? Fresh split chicken breast, $1.49. Bottom rounded roast, $4.99. So let's round it off, right? So this chicken breast, let's say 2 6s, 12, right?
Yeah.
Let's say $13.
Yeah.
You ain't getting no chicken breast here for $13.
No.
Not as far as I know. I could be wrong. Anybody know where that is? Call us and tell us so we could tell people go there, right? Baked potatoes, 2 pounds of 5.
I mean, again, but in that case, we don't, the meat production industry in America is insane. So that is the reason why meat prices, chicken prices would be so cheap there.
Avocado, 79 cents, right? And let's round that off that dollar. So that's $6. You ain't getting avocado here for $6, $7.
Correct.
Right?
No,
so,
no.
I mean, it's kind of, it's really heartbreaking, as I said, dollar for dollar. Sometimes you ask, but these, Mr. Dippy, and they will tell you, is the shipping costs and the freights and all this kind of thing. And okay, so then why can't we go back to Tobago being the food basket of Trinidad and Tobago?
There you go.
That was so at one time, right?
Yes, it was.
Who stopped that? The prison service, and just like what Vision and Mission doing, could the prison service, you have people in there, you could have a whole agricultural industry that the prison service. But then, who stopped that from happening? Because I understand that they tried that one time. Somebody stopped it from happening.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because the state must spend money on the... And you see, when people question national security, and national securities get billions of dollars every year.
Mm-hmm.
And you know where half that money goes, folks? In salaries,
Yep.
Think about it. You have the fire service, the prison service, the defense force, which comprise of 4 formations. Police service, they have to get a salary every month, at the end of every month. Where do you think that money coming from? So when people talk about national security getting the largest part of the budget to fight crime, it's to keep crime fighters happy too, and public servants, because they have to pay them. So that's where it's every month they get paid at varying levels of salaries.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So think about that. Before you're ready, ask these questions, especially of national security, because that is what they have to do. Pay salaries apart from fight crime. So it's important to know that. But I know some of you never thought of that, right? Every time a policeman or a soldier or a fireman or a prison officer go by the bank every month and stick that card and they get paid, it's national security budget that comes from,
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that is where I'm just saying, that people keep asking the question about,
Yeah, but
where all this money going, national security gets in and all. And then on top of that, they still have to furnish and procure, equipment and all of that for the national security.
I think
I mean, blowing a trumpet for them, but it's the truth.
Yeah, but I think the point that some people are making is that perhaps some of that funding could be better placed improving the social services that we already have, expanding programs like CCC, for instance, and MyLat. And ensuring that the people who are below the poverty line and are hovering around the poverty line can live
Okay, so let me fix
comfortably.
that. CCC is not under national security anymore.
I know that.
They are,
I know, but I'm saying it doesn't need to be for it to exist, right? So I think what some people may be thinking is that instead of throwing funds into law enforcement, try the prevention side first. Try to make sure that people are stable, healthy.
But they have been doing that, Natasha.
But those programs are not, they always complain about they're not well funded, aren't they? And understaffed and under-resourced.
Yeah, but no.
Aren't they?
No, because just recently another region was added, Camille, if you're listening, send a message to me, please, let me know. Another region of CCC was added recently, I could stand corrected, but so they're expanding it. And the same thing. I mean, my latter time struggled too, and I don't know why that was moved from national security, because as far as I'm concerned, my latter military program, I should have stayed with national security. I don't know why, but I think the state as well given more funds to CCC so that they could have an extra region so they could bring in more youngsters.
And there's also the context of the political statement that is being made by announcing the amount of money that is going to national security, because they perceive that it makes people feel safer, rather than saying we're giving 100 million to social development. It's a political strategy as well.
Gary, the short man,
tough on crime. Oh, but no, before you go, somebody raised in the comments on Facebook, and I just wanted to address this, the difference between an expiry date and a best before date, because I don't think people understand that.
Yeah, because after some good expiry, you could still use it up to a certain point.
Correct. So a best before date, and this is from the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Unfortunately, our Consumer Affairs Division doesn't have this information on their page. A best before date on a food package states when the durable life period of the food ends. So the durable life means the anticipated amount of time that an unopened food product, when stored under appropriate conditions, will retain its freshness, its taste, nutritional values, and any other qualities. So this date can be found on a package underneath the words best before, and this date tells the consumer that the unopened product should be of high quality until that specific date. This is the best before date. And the best before date is not the same as the expiration date. So the expiry date is required on certain foods that have specific nutritional compositions that could falter after the determined expiry date. So in other words, after the expiration date has passed, the food may not have the same nutrient content as described on the label. So expiry dates are required for, and this is in Canada again, formulated liquid diets, food sold by a pharmacist, meal replacements, nutritional supplements, and infant formula. If a food has passed its expiry date, it should be discarded and not used. But if it's best before, yes, take note of the best before, but it can still be consumed, but understand that it would have lost some of its quality. So that's the difference.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency. Yes, and we are taking it as we start the build-up of programming on Dependency for 2024. We have some very serious programs to come, but it's a carnival season, so we're touching on these areas that we don't normally touch on during the year. So please, you have any comment to make, continue to send your comments to Facebook and YouTube as usual. Remember, coming up, we're going to show you the police in action at St. Paul Street. Then we have some pictures to show you of possible police officers or who apply to go into the police service. And there's a nice little praise for the police service recruiting process that someone experienced recently, or a friend of that person recently experienced, and we're going to share that with you. Like I said, when people experience good stuff with the police, we have to show it. I'd like to say good morning to Ms. Ayana Webster-Roy and a staff of the Ministry of Gender and Child Affairs. There was a function recently where they gave out some what they call dignity care kits, I think if I have the name correctly, and some funding for NGOs to continue their work. And the minister, has agreed that she would sit with Dependency after Carnival so that they could speak more about the ministry and the work that they've been doing. That's a real humble lady boy. And I love what she said about the Trinidad music. And next week we're going to be discussing that, because the minister made a statement and a suggestion, and I think one of the people involved in the Trinidad scenario agreed that yes, because my thing is, if Trinidad is that good, then how come Trinidad cannot bring 6 and 7 together? Why they are not using the music to do that? That's a kind of anomaly there that I find, because if the music is to reach a certain sector of society, then why Trinidad music is not bringing people together as the minister. She gave a nice suggestion, and we'll find that soundbite to play for you next Sunday, God's willing, to hear what the minister actually have to say. But
well, perhaps if they knew the benefits of that to themselves and to the country as a whole, that might happen. But maybe they're not seeing the value in doing that.
well, we will see and we'll hear, right? So I'm gonna go to video A, please. And how many of you would have been in an establishment and see a customer behave like this? And what the attendant did?
And it's interesting.
Are you the manager?
So
Good morning.
I don't quite understand why.
Let's look at this and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay, so what they're telling me
So
that
for you on the
I have
radio,
to
there's
remove my hat.
a gentleman went into flow, and the rule was to take off his hat. Hear the conversation. Let's
I
go
have
to
to
the
remove my hat to do business inside of flow. Okay, that's it. I don't want to hear anything more. I don't want to hear anything more. That's the only question I asked you. Do I have to remove my hat to do business inside of flow?
On the property which we are
Yes, I don't care about that. I'm on the outside. I'm in flow now. So do I have to remove my hat to do business in flow? So answer me.
I did answer that.
And I said no, don't
I also have to indicate.
No, did you say no?
That's okay. So once they're finished here, then I guess you can have that conversation with them on the outside then, because you'll be on their property.
So they keep on saying outside. I'm not speaking about outside. I'm talking about inside flow here. So now where I'm standing. Yeah.
So you're prepared that when you're through then.
I don't care about outside. I'm speaking about right here where I'm standing now.
Not a problem, sir.
So do I have to remove my hat to do business here?
Go ahead and transact it.
So man, play it over now. Let's go back for the top. Play it over. Let's carry.
Are you the manager? Good morning. You are telling me that if I don't remove my hat, I cannot do any business in here, sir? Okay, so what you're telling me that I have to remove my hat to deal with business no, listen to what I'm saying to you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have to remove my hat to do business inside of flow.
No, we don't have that.
Okay, that's it. I don't want to hear anything more. I don't want to hear anything more. That's the only question I asked you. Do I have to remove my hat to do business inside of flow?
have to abide on the property which we are
Yes, I don't care about that. I'm on the outside. I'm in flow now. So do I have to remove my hat to do business in flow? So answer me.
I did answer that.
And you said no, don't you?
I also have to indicate.
No, did you say no?
That's okay. So once they're finished here, then I guess you can have that conversation with them on the outside then, because you'll be on their property.
So you keep on saying outside. I'm not speaking about outside. I'm talking about inside flow here. So now where I'm standing. Yeah.
So you're prepared that when you're through then.
I don't care about outside. I'm speaking about right here where I'm standing now.
Not a problem, sir.
So do I have to remove my cap to do business here?
Go ahead and transact your business.
No.
Interesting.
But if you go into an establishment and they ask you to remove your hat, and that that is a thing post 9/11, right? Because you could have gone into a bank long ago without any problem, or in these establishments with your hats on, but now you have to take, because of face recognition. Remember, some people pull caps down on their forehead to hide their face, and so we may not like it, but then if the business requires it and requests it, then
it's for security
reasons. It's for security reasons. Do your transaction and go your way. It's as simple as that. And the young lady, as a customer service rep, handled herself well.
Yes, she
did. So good morning to Rena, Gerard, Edward, Christine on Facebook and on YouTube. Sorry. Good morning to you all. Thank you very much for joining us. And again, the customer service. I'm calling on WASA again. Please, Minister, we just forgot to include that video of that residential area. I mean, we are accustomed, because WASA took 10 years They took 10 years to fix
A
something
pothole.
a pothole that they dug up, and somebody else came and fixed it. It's really sad. You see, cars are being inspected for being roadworthy, but when WASA dig up the road and leave it in a deplorable state, you're damaging cars, and it is not right. It is unfair to be going through this all the time. So as I hope the customer service where that is in regard is concerned and to me is common sense. If I am coming to dig up on Shine Street, then I have to inform. I find WASA shouldn't go into any community unless they inform the regional corporation. Look, we come in to dig up by you so and so. Please have people stand by to come and pitch it back when they're done. We've seen this everywhere we went. So why doesn't it apply to Trinidad and Tobago?
Because the corporation might push back and say we don't have the resources on that day. So just go ahead and do the work now. We'll clean it up after.
Come now, man. We could do better than this. This is a new year, and I'm hoping that we can see an improvement. And if we see you all doing it, we will come and highlight it. So you're going to dig across, and most of the time you're digging across the road. You're leaving a trench. You live in a trench. And so whether it's rainy season is mud, dry season is dust. Come on, we can do better. We can do better. Let's try and do better, please, okay? And to the Medical Board of Trinidad and Tobago, once again, this doctor who is a poly addict, we would like to know where he is, please. Isn't there anybody that the Medical Board answers to?
The Minister of Health, to some extent. But again,
folks, if I got Sinclair, come here every Sunday and told you all, I started to sell cocaine because of poverty, or I relapsed last week, I take a shot, I went out and some men offer me a smoke and I take it, and I keep telling you all that every single Sunday. You think you will trust anything I have to say? You won't.
Oh boy.
And you may even call for us to come off the radio.
Yes.
How could we have somebody who's on the radio talking about drug use and all of that, selling drugs and saying no and block and smoking weed, and how can you do it? But yet Trinidad and Tobago stayed quiet. This is one of the reasons for the anthem. Iowa didn't motivate me to sing that. I had that track since last year. Right? So, and this is part of the anthem I don't understand. If every creed and race find an equal place, then why should a doctor who is a poly addict, who pled guilty in court, got convicted, still we don't know where he is? This is a medical doctor we are talking about here, folks, who take knife to people.
Who is, again, this is a profession that is extremely protected and revered, not just in Trinidad and Tobago either. So they're going to do whatever is in their power to protect him, not the patients that he took an oath to see about. They're going to protect him and his career and his profession, because this is, holier than thou.
This is wrong. This is wrong. Who is this doctor? Do you who listening to us right now on Facebook and YouTube and on radio, you know this doctor? You know where he's practicing right now? Anybody knows where he is? But he admitted to using mushrooms, ketamine, which is a date rape drug as well, LSD, ecstasy, LSD. This is a medical doctor in Trinidad and Tobago, folks. And up to this day, the medical board has not said a word to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Well, we have taken care of it. We sent this doctor to rehab. Where is the doctor?
And where are the others like him?
You all know what happens when somebody uses mushrooms, folks? You all know what happens when somebody uses LSD? A patient could turn to a snake on an operating table. You all understand how grave this situation is here? That a medical doctor who is a poly addict? Come on. And if he's not an addict, then who's he selling these drugs to? Other doctors? Or patients? There are so many questions to be asked with this situation here. And yet, this is why people can raise their food prices on us, and because we don't say nothing, we take everything and just smile.
Correct.
And prepare for the weekend. It's really sad. And we will do our part here to call on the medical board again. Please tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago and show us some respect. Show the people of Trinidad and Tobago some respect and care by telling us, where is this doctor?
Yep. Because if he's...
It's as simple as that. Manners. It's just respect for the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
If he is credentialed as it was indicated that he was, he would have been granted a license of some kind from the medical board. So he is your responsibility. But as Garth is mentioning, what is your responsibility to us,
the people of Trinidad and Tobago? What's the responsibility? What's your responsibility, medical board? And I understand there was a new board instituted just recently. What is your responsibility, or what are your responsibilities to the people, to us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago? What's the use of the medical board in the first place? Tell us. Because this, again, are Class A drugs. This doctor is a polyaddict.
Well,
you know what a polyaddict means? A person is addicted to more than one substance.
According to their website, medical practitioners with full registration in Trinidad and Tobago constitute the Medical Board of Trinidad and Tobago. The Executive Council of the MBTT comprises 11 members. The council is a quasi-judicial body with a responsibility of regulating the medical profession in Trinidad and Tobago. So I think I am fair in saying that this issue with this particular doctor falls under regulating the medical profession, does it not? Deal with it.
And speaking of which, polyaddicts, to Mr. Farley Augustine, across in Tobago, we have a Sunday to spend on Tobago too, you know. Maybe 2 Sundays. Because what are you doing? One of the things you said on the platform, you know about drug use in Tobago, and you had a friend who went to school with on drugs now, and it break your heart. And okay, so where's the rehab facility for the people of Tobago? Where is it? Chief Secretary come, Chief Secretary go. Same thing. Tobago has a drug problem, as we have been highlighting for the last 15 years, and it has grown exponentially. What are you doing about it now? Please tell us, because we will put Tobago on blast in the next couple of Sundays. Trust me, we're doing it. And I don't care what nobody say, mind all your business, leave Tobago people at business. Until it change from Trinidad and Tobago, Tobago will be our business. Good morning, Whitfield. And as we said, God don't get me started on Wassa. Why in the year of our Lord 2024, we're still digging up the government roads to put down pipelines? Wassa alone. No. Folks, let's go to a break, and when we return, we're going to put up what we spoke about. This is the police service section coming up here. All right? Tribute to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in a way that we have not seen happen before. I've seen it for the first time, and I was elated when I saw it, and I said, I hope it continues. We have Gary, get a applause button standby for me, please, because I wanna say thank you to the police service for doing this. What I saw there, they were working. They were among a hostile bunch of citizens, but they had each other's back. They whatever they did, why they went there, we didn't know, but they did some work at St. Paul Street recently. But what I saw, what they did with the people, that is what I was impressed with. I've seen it for the first time, and I hope it continues.
Garth, before we go to the break, just I'm reading the website of the medical board, and apparently if you have an issue with a medical practitioner, you need to address a complaint to them, right? They have a complaint form. You fill it out and supply them with all of your evidence, and you submit it to them, right? They also on this page they say, please note that the council of the medical board is limited in its scope with respect to the actions that can be taken against a medical practitioner. Council usually deals with complaints regarding unethical and unprofessional practice. Any criminal complaints, such as sexual assault, murder, must be brought to the attention of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service as well as the DPP. So is it that because this matter went to court and was determined, there is nothing somebody has to file a complaint against this individual in order for him to be dealt with by the medical board? Because the courts have done what the police and the courts have done what they needed to do.
Yeah.
But now,
And the DPP.
in order for the medical board to act, there must be a complaint registered against the individual by a member of the public, I guess.
So let me ask this question to the medical board. You would have seen and heard circulating that a medical doctor was arrested, and we congratulate that police officer again for his keen powers of observation, because he was parked up at the side of the road,
Yes.
and the police officer stopped, pulled him, and they were smoking. He and another person was smoking a joint at the time. And when on further investigation, the police officer saw these Class A drugs. The police officer did his duty.
Yes.
So what you telling me now? That
If we have a concern about this individual,
so as medical practitioners or members of the medical board are not really medical practitioners. Are they doctors?
yes.
Right. And you don't know the dangers of Class A drugs? Then we waste 20 years on this radio station? You don't know the dangers of mushrooms, the medical board? That now, the police already did their job. What's your ethical role in protecting the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? Or you're waiting for another baby's ear to be slit from ear to ear?
No, we
That's what you're waiting
entitled
on?
to view the register of medical practitioners
Come on, man.
by
Come
paying
on.
$1
Come on.
and requesting to view the list. And if the physician in question is on the list or not on the list, then I guess they could intervene.
Well, you can't be serious. You all cannot be serious. You all cannot be serious. I'm sorry. Then as I keep saying, then we should disband drug treatment court, disband National Drug Council, we should disband all of these things, because we have a medical doctor now who is a polyaddict and it's okay. That is your service to the people of Trinidad and Tobago Medical Board? No, man.
Well, they're not really serving
No.
us, they're
Because-
serving their membership.
Yeah, but then, Natasha, this will all come around, it will make full circle to the Minister of Health if something happen again.
Yes.
It will come full circle.
Yes, it will.
So then, and by extension, the government will get blamed. But then, we here, as citizens, and citizens everywhere in Trinidad and Tobago should raise their voices with this. All it can be, we can't do it alone. Because you see how long, since last year, the morning show with Dale and Tony, and us here have been asking this question about this medical doctor. Where is he? Is he still practicing? Does he live is he still in Trinidad and Tobago? Or probably you sent him on vacation so that we could forget? Because that's what they will do, right? They'll tell him take some leave and go and,
Well, that's based on whoever his employer is. The medical board does not employ people.
I know, but they oversee.
Yes, they oversee.
Right.
But again, that is the determinant of the employer, but we don't know where he's employed.
This is so wrong. This is wrong. And it's scary too. Because any of you walking into a medical institution could be walking straight in the arms of this polyaddict. And you don't know who he is or where he is. You tell me nothing is wrong with that? Man, let's go to a break. Yeah, sure, man, let's go to the break now. Let's come back and share some good news. Fed up with this nonsense.
Morning. Morning. Listen now. I noticed something out. Them new people on about Bureau Day. Where's that? Girl, the man that he passing up and down in front of here with a set of woman.
I really noticed some woman living there, And they can't even say as much as good morning.
Well, listen now. I wonder if it's human trafficking. You think it's that?
So, how can you spot and identify perpetrators and victims of trafficking? Many victims are found living and working together in the same place and sleep in shared and inappropriate spaces. Victims work excessively long hours. They often sleep in the daytime and work long nights. They are often escorted everywhere they go and may appear to be malnourished. They may show signs of physical abuse, drug and alcohol use, and may also appear withdrawn, fearful, or intimidated. Victims who are migrants are often not in possession of their identity or immigration documents and have irregular immigration status. Perpetrators can be male or female and may appear to be managing or controlling the victims. And they may even at times appear to be the victim's best friend, boyfriend, or employer.
We are the counter-trafficking unit of the Ministry of National Security, Trinidad and Tobago, safeguarding human life.
Eye on Dependency with Garth and Natasha.
Reality radio, at its best, where every life is a biography.
Sundays, at 10 a.m., and exclusively, on 95.5 FM.
And streamed live, on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page, and YouTube channel.
This is Eye on Dependency, and you are listening to us talk about a myriad of items around the topic of customer service and food prices and the responsibilities of professional associations like the medical board, etc., etc. And I just posted a link to the medical board's website on our Facebook feed, so you can go and have a look yourself as to what they say about the members of the public and how we can engage with them in very specific ways, what they're about, who their membership are, who makes up the council. You can find all of that information on their website. And I also posted a link to an Express article about the medical doctor in question that we are speaking of, right? So all that information is there, and we are happy to share that and do with it as you will. Shortman, let's go to that first video B. This is one of our local social media influencers, Stefan. I'm sure you've seen him or heard of him, and he's talking about an experience a friend of his had with the recent recruitment exercise by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. So let's hear what Stefan had to say.
Watch now, all you only come on here. When thing bother in my whole soul, all you, and let me tell you something, eh? When people doing good, give them the flowers. I'll repeat. When people doing good, give them the flowers. And this message is for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, boy. I understand all that a little recruitment, boy. I think it was the 11th and 12th that this month gone day. Excuse me. And excuse them bag bill on it, man. Forget it. I had a couple of partners going down, boy. In the south one I'm talking about. I mean, not so much about the north one, but assuming the service was good in the north too. He said when he gone in the south recruitment, he was shocked, boy. He expecting to get quarrel and cuss and thing. Because that time he went to apply for a work now in the next faction at the Ministry of National Security. And when he gone there, was quarrel and cuss too bad and embarrassment. He say when he gone in this police, when he done expecting to kind of, watch how he handle himself and thing. When he gone there, it's good morning, sir. He get 10 to sit down. The people talking to them like human. He say he was shocked. He say he was shocked. And that is what I was so happy about. To know that only when the police service do bad, people want to come on here and pong them. But no, when people do good, and officers who eventually do recruitment and whatever, all you do real good because people only talking nice thing about all you. You know they like to pong all you. But at the end of the day, as I say, when people do good, give them the flowers. The recruitment at the south, wherever, Down Marabella or somewhere, where they're going to apply. He tell me personally, he say, boy, do a video, He say, make sure and do a video and pick up them police because he say, I tell the man prepare himself to get quarrel and thing. He said, that's sweet like honey down there. So again, people, don't judge people too quick. Yeah, we just have to listen with the police and thing. But when they do good, give them the clappers. When people doing good, give them the flowers. So to whoever was in charge of that recruitment, thank you for treating the public of Trinidad and Tobago like human beings and not like some dog in the road. Thank you so much. I'm gone.
So that was... and as well, Joel posted that. And I say, I had to share it. Yeah, because you really hear these things about the police.
And he had something to compare it to, which makes it that much more impactful.
Yeah.
So yeah, kudos to whoever was leading the
recruiting staff of the Trinidad and Tobago Police. Yes,
in South. Again, we don't have any reports about what happened in other locations, but in South they were definitely welcoming to the group of prospective police officers.
Right. So now, you know somebody going to join the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Before we show you what the police did on St. Paul Street, that they doing their job, go to go to D Shortman. So let's put up some photos of people who have applied to join the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And if you recognize this and if you can't see clearly, then you can always go to the TTPS Facebook page.
Yes.
And you will see.
And it's a video, so you can run it a couple times, Shortman.
Right. So let's go. You recognize any of these people here? They have applied to become police officers in Trinidad and Tobago. Don't remember. And if they want to become police officers, and you know any one of them who involved in darkness, who should not be a police officer, then it is your duty as a citizen to report to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service what you know, and to save us, the state and the police service as well, from further trauma and having to spend money, or the state having to spend money because of one of these got in who not supposed to be there. Again, if you wish, you can join us on Facebook or YouTube, and I'm seeing their faces very clear.
Mm-hmm. And it has their name and the area that they're from as well. So if it's easier to just zone in on the areas, might help. I don't know. Because recognizing faces might be a little challenging.
Yeah, for me sometimes too.
Because people tend to look different when they have a mugshot.
Because
looking.
If somebody has shaved their head, they look different to when they have hair on their head.
Yes. Well, I would assume these are current photos. This is how they currently look.
I'm assuming that these are current photos. And I think they would have had to submit these photos. John, correct me if I'm wrong, but they would have to submit these photos along with the application and everything else.
Okay.
Or
they may have been taken on the day.
We don't know, but the police service published it, so I guess it's an updated list of the candidates who have applied, or the citizens who have applied to join the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. You know any of them? Please let the police service know. And thankfully, you know, when we joined the work back then, there was none of this, you know. We never had to do this, you know. They never published any pictures in the newspaper and all of that. That started, you know, when things started changing, let me just say.
Yeah.
But they never published, because I saw when
You sure about that? You sure?
Joanne could tell me, or even Blackie, or people who listening who were in the part of the service, let's say from in the 80s, right? If their picture was published, I can't remember my picture being published in the newspaper.
But you wouldn't have seen it. Maybe your mother saw
But
it.
nobody didn't. I don't think they did, because remember too, them times they didn't want no sort of passes and all these things to it, right? To join the police or the defense force or the regiment.
So it wasn't as transparent, the recruiting process.
I didn't say that. You're on your own with that. I just saying.
I'm just taking a leap here.
That you will get me in trouble when you do it. I ain't going to show you under the bus.
No, but that's what it sounds like to me.
No, they again, it's because of the crime situation and where things started taking a turn in the different arms of the protective service.
Yes.
Then they resorted to publishing names and pictures in the newspaper, so that the police service could get help in.
Yep. And thank you, Keith Smith, for reminding us that polygraph testing is going to be applied to these recruits.
Right.
Because the legislation is coming before the parliament.
Right.
So hopefully this will be part of the screening for candidates like these. I don't know if these will face it, but it's coming.
Right. Look, also Lemma case, no photos were published back in his time, and he joined the service long before I did.
Okay.
And so no, we didn't have to go through that. We didn't have to go through that publishing of picture in the newspaper and all kind of thing. So.
So those were the days when they would visit your house and talk to people in the community about you.
Yeah, they would. Yes, well, yes. The Intel department normally did. But remember, these were small units then. It's expanded now.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, but again, folks, if you want to, if you recognize any face here that should not join the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, please let the police service know. Is there a number? And we lost James Elric Ayres, former sailor. Funeral service for the late retired Petty Officer James Ayres will be. Ayres died. You know, I reading it. I don't realize it. Ayres, I reading here. Okay, Ayres died on. So the funeral service for Ayres will be held on Tuesday, 30th January, 1100 hours, at the Sanctuary of Prayers Church, Mount Pleasant Main Road, Mount Pleasant, Tobago. Then it will proceed to the Buku Cemetery for burial. All right. So again, the funeral service for the late retired Petty Officer James Ayres will be held on Tuesday, 30 January, 1100 hours, at the Sanctuary of Prayers Church, Mount Pleasant Main Road, Mount Pleasant, Tobago. Then it will proceed to Buku Cemetery for burial. So, folks, those of you plan to attend Ayres' funeral, you have the information now.
Who is this again? What's the full name?
Retired Petty Officer James Ayres, Ayres.
Okay.
I think he used to call us, and he used to call the radio station too, you know. He used to call, I remember he has a very distinctive voice. Distinct voice, you know.
Condolences to his family. And to go back to the recruits, the police service is seeking information from the public on the character and suitability of applicants who are being considered for enlistment. And if you have any information which may deem someone unsuitable, please indicate in writing. They would like for you to indicate this in writing to the Senior Superintendent, Police Academy, Salmon Drive, St. James. Telephone 622-3171, extensions 22102 to 22106. 22106, Lord. And the email is policeacademy, one word, at ttps.gov.tt. So again, you have to indicate in writing if you have any information about any of these candidates who may be unsuitable, and address your correspondence to the Senior Superintendent, Police Academy, Salmon Drive, St. James, and the email address is policeacademy@ttps.gov.tt.
Right. So Margot, Ford and George Jacob said their pictures weren't published either.
Right. Yes.
And so we were good children, you know. We didn't. We weren't running with the bad guys.
No. It's a lack of transparency.
Yeah. So let's go to that. So there was a raid at St. Paul Street, folks, and the police. For those of you who didn't see it, this is what our young police officers, especially, are up against when they go out in these communities. And I keep saying to citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, when police come for you, you could call them wicked how much you want. You could do what you want. They will not turn away because you say they're wicked. They come to do a job, And this is what they will do.
Yep.
And obstructing police officers while they're doing their duty is not really sensible to do. Because in the heat of things, some of you could pick up a bad blow, you know, because officers have to watch each other's back. So somebody getting arrested and 2 or 3 men rushing the officer and leave the boy and do nothing, and then you could take what you get, you know.
Yeah.
You could record from a distance without impeding the arrest and the work of the officers. Shortman, let's go to the video.
Before we do, just to highlight your point, Fiola on Facebook says she's seen the video and her observation is that the police didn't cover properly the exit on the compound. They went a circle around each other. Many of the police so many of them were exposed to loudmouths, especially the women, who could have been planted distractions. I think the police were too exposed and could have covered better.
Well, okay, good observation, and I am sure that the police would hopefully that they would use these videos as teaching tools, practice tools, you know, that they will
review and
but let's go to the video, because I observed something that I want you all to see, and I was really impressed with it, and I hope that it continues like that.
I had an observation as well, but this is to relation to the suspects.
All right, so let's go to the video, Shortman, and those of you on radio, we try to describe it for you. We have an aerial shot of police officers at an yes, there's a resident who recorded this. And this is the police going into St. Paul Street.
A block of apartments. So they're on the compound of the...
Yes.
They have the vehicles parked there. There are about, I would say, maybe 10, 15 officers. Some of them are inside the building searching for the suspects, and they will soon come out with a few of them.
Right.
They have one in custody now already.
Yes, one
and
is
again,
in custody already.
My observation from these persons who are held is that they look like children. That was the astounding part to me.
Okay. Well, you know what, Natasha, if you a police raid an apartment, and if there are children in there, they keep telling them, there are some parents who feel, well, their son, as long as they not encourage the son to bring marijuana or gun in the house, police go at everybody.
Yes. So they're now exiting the building with another suspect, and they're escorting him to a vehicle.
Now, watch where they're going to put him,
in the back
Officer opens the door.
Okay.
Boy, listen. Gary, just listen.
Back seat. Aye.
You know we always talking about this, right?
Yes.
And they didn't put him in the tray. They put him in the back seat
Yes,
to sit.
and he's already handcuffed, so they just put him in.
So he's no danger to them.
Correct.
And to himself. And they put him in the back. I was blown away by that.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting to see them,
Fling them in the back
put them in the back as they normally would do.
Yes.
But no, this is not what they did. They put, and they did it more than once or 3 times.
Yeah.
So, but this was a hot mess on
yeah, they
on
be
St. Paul
continuing
Street.
to watch.
They surprised them.
Yeah, we continue to watch them bring in more suspects into the compound from on the street. So, and there are people gathered, residents, I guess, who are surrounding them, so to speak, kind of escorting the suspects.
Get some of the audio for the radio listeners to hear, Gary. Let's get some of the audio. Hear the kind of foolishness police had to encounter with it. Go ahead. Folks, just a little disclaimer. If you hear, I just asked Natasha, I have no seen language in this. No, I listened to it and I didn't really hear. I think down to the end. Folks, forgive us, but we just were so enthusiastic to show you it that.
We didn't edit for language. In case there's
don't say not we now. You don't talk don't pull me that with you at all. All right.
Look, Right. So the officers are continuing to bring in more and more suspects.
Right.
Some male, some female.
Yes.
And
but people crowding them, and police have to be.
Yes.
And
again, these look like children. They look like teenagers. All of them had to be 18 and under. Most of them. And of course, the police officers are engaging with some of the residents, trying to, keep them away.
But I didn't see no police brutality. They wasn't beating anybody.
No.
They didn't. They were just.
No, they were being calm and collected,
Yes.
and not allowing the residents to agitate the situation.
Now, what I would like to see, body cam footage of this.
Yes.
You see, if we could get body cam footage of this, then we wouldn't have to rely on a citizen recording this.
Correct.
Because they will record what they want to.
Correct.
Right?
And you can actually see the interaction from the officer's perspective, which is what we want.
Yes. And it will show us what officers have to encounter when they go out there.
Yes. Again, we're watching police officers engaging with some of the residents. These are female residents, and there's one lady who's being a little belligerent up in the officer's face, and then another one trying to, trying to tell her, leave that alone.
No, but I want to say well done to the police for doing this. Yes, they are suspects, but then they are innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
And you treat them. So this one, there's another police officer going to put one in the vehicle, and they open the door again, and they put the suspect to sit in the back seat.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
That's how it should be done.
Oh Lord, I tell you, I shouldn't be jumping and screaming about this, because this should be normal, but it's the first time I've seen it.
And it seems as if they at least have enough vehicles for all of the suspects that they have
Yes.
nabbed,
Yes.
right? So you don't
Gary?
have to see people in the trunk of a SUV.
some more audio.
Huh?
Just out of an abundance of caution.
Yes.
You know, but I just wanted the listeners to hear what we were looking at, and the police. And again, I said there was no police brutality, they didn't beat up nobody, because people decide, look, I got arrested.
They did kind of rough up one of the young men. I think he was in a white vest, but again, and that is what alerted me to the fact of the age, how young these people looking, and it's very unfortunate. But as Fiola mentioned, it seems as if they have the exits covered. I mean, they seem to have provided themselves with enough cover so that they could exit safely. And I think the way that they dealt with the residents in particular was good.
Yeah. And the way, and I think, is this in Northern Division Task Force? Because the way they carry their weapons too, they always ensure that they were either pointing to the ground or up in the air.
Yes.
They didn't try to intimidate anyone. I mean, Gary, give them some applause here for me, please. Margot, thanks for that observation. Give the police some applause here. All right, so we take some of your calls as we get closer to 12. We have major news up at 12. And we have been touching a lot of things this morning. Customer service, food prices, you name it. By now some of you would have woken up. You're listening to Dependency. And if remember, you can go back to our Facebook or YouTube channel and watch these programs, what we missed from the beginning. But we want to thank you all on Facebook and YouTube for joining us.
Yes.
And the photos are still up on the YouTube section of the channel because that is a little more delayed. So the photos of people who intend to join the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, it is the Police Service published this for a reason in the newspaper, which is to get your input in ensuring that we get the right people to join the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. That is why they do it. Okay? So please be mindful of that. And if you know someone who should not wear a police uniform, please let them know. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Natasha.
Morning.
Can I get back to the medical board?
Sure, go ahead.
What kind of people we have on the medical board?
If what?
Medical board. What kind of people it consists of?
They're all physicians. I wouldn't want to. I mean, you can go on the website and figure out who you think or what demographic or ethnicity they are, but they're all medical professionals.
I saw the name mentioned doesn't sound like ECGN to me.
Right, but that shouldn't have anything to do with ethics.
Correct.
Well, all right.
Regardless of the race, the right thing is the right thing. Drug use, really don't care. Go ahead.
The woman African doctor who was fired because of some misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Who fired her?
I think the medical board had something to do.
I see. The medical board. I see. Well, that says something, man. That says something. I'm sorry to say. That says something in this country.
Thank you for your call, sir. Thanks a lot. I find no matter what race you are, you should have some integrity.
Yeah,
and you should care about people.
Yeah,
I don't care what your race is.
Your profession doesn't demand the kind of people you treat, so it shouldn't.
And if you have a doctor who, taking care of us and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and he's a poly addict, then we need to know where he is and what did happen to him after he was charged and convicted. He's a convict.
Even though he was fined, that's a discussion on its own. He was fined.
He was fined, but he's still a conviction.
Yes, it's still a conviction.
So if he goes for a police certificate of good character tomorrow, it will be a dirty one.
Yep.
So we have a doctor who has a conviction.
Yes.
And we don't know where he is, and he's a poly addict on top of that. Triple whammy. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you guys.
Hey, and good morning.
Good morning to you, Natasha.
Morning.
Mr. Hinkle, Agari, and all I-95ers. Got to Natasha, I have 2 points. First one, the one with flu. The flu have, like you put up a notification to the front of the building. So before people enter, they should see, cannot wear a hat. I don't know if it's in law, this will stand in law. So from the time that person enters with a hat, he or she will not be able to enter if they try. And secondly, this is the service customers. Yesterday, myself and relatives were in the gas station in Balston opposite Super Farm. And this young man in Jared, he alone, after midday, was attending to all the vehicles. And if you see how Jared jumping from one vehicle to the next, taking all the farm from this one, he put it. And I sat in the car and watched this child in amazement. And I gave him a clap. I said, what's your name, son? He said, Jared. I said, and every time he's smiling, I said, well done. Well done. So I hope MP treats this young man very well because he's a worker in whom they should be well pleased. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, good morning, Garth and Natasha. What I was calling about, the doctor that you all and dear and Tony have been talking about, is his name known?
Yes, it is. It has been published. I posted a link to the Sunday Express article. His name is Andel Jagannath.
Oh, his name hasn't been called on the radio. Okay. What I want to say to Wasa, you there, sir?
Yes, we're here.
Wasa. I think it's a simple thing of having a qualifying stuff for each hole that each area that you excavate. So when you packing back this stuff after you dig it up, you must have a qualifying stuff. So your stuff would be like stuff we put there now as we just dig up the hole after we fill it back up, and then 2 weeks after you come and keep putting qualifying stuff to settle. But all they put is the stuff that they dug up there and just leave it. So my suggestion is have some form. I mean, we have to be smarter than that. We're not children and we're not stupid. We must come up with something, a qualifying stuff or material that you put for it to settle. So you put one when you just excavate the hole and you fill it back. And then maybe 2 weeks after you come and put another one that will make it settle better. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a quality, come up with a quality, and the people, and one more thing again, the people who pave the road. I mean, asphalt is, when it's hot, it's soft and it moves. But after the church on the road, it's like a several speed bump you're going over, so I don't know what, they use a rake and some other thing. It's years now since I've been small, they've been doing that. And these same fellas who do the work, they have vehicle and drive on the road. I'm sure you don't have to have a stone roller to roll at. Something they could do to smoothen that, because it's sticky still when they put it down. It's still moving. And after it suddenly get hard, it's like you're going over several speed bumps.
Yep.
So something that they and all, something they could do to make that smoother.
Agreed.
They have been doing that for years. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, and that is very
Somebody
correct.
what was my whole comment. Who is that?
That was Annette who just called, and I
Okay.
replied to her.
Somebody wanted to find what a polyaddict. A polyaddict is someone who is addicted to more than one drug. So there are people who are addicted to alcohol, cocaine, marijuana, the ecstasy, mushroom. There are people who has the constitution to stand all of these drugs in their system. These are polyaddicts. All right. So they're a person addicted to more than one substance. So the word poly applies here. All right. And so I hope that answers your question. And another citizen asked, they wondering about the safety of the person who's reporting if they see a picture. And you call out some numbers for the person to call or email.
An email, yeah.
Right. What about the safety of the person who is doing the emailing or calling to report somebody who they see? Because somebody don't don't report these things because they feel that the word would get back to the person that so you stole me out. You say I selling drugs here and I couldn't join the police service.
Yeah, well, I think it's up to the TTPS to ensure
the public that it is safe to do so.
That the information will be kept confidential. Yes.
And at the same time, to the police officers out there who are brutalizing people's children, to the police officers out there who are already serving, who you have innocent people in prison, your day will come, Don't feel you get away. You're not going to get away. Because I know a few people in prison who should not be there. And you know that too. But your time will come. As night follows day. I don't know who you are, but you know what you did. And if you have someone sitting innocent in prison, every time they cry, as my mothers used to always say, tears don't fall on the ground. Every time they cry, every time you make their family cry, that tear is not falling on the ground. It will fall on your shoulders. Trust me, it will.
But tell us
not
again,
condoning that. I'm not supporting you where that one is concerned.
Tell us again how you are coping with the food prices. I just wanted to talk back to that subject because there are things that people are doing, whether it's having your little backyard garden, whether it is being vegetarian or vegan, whether it is trying to stick to fresh fruits and vegetables and not relying on heavily processed items. What is your strategy in terms of reducing your food bill and counteracting the daily hike in food prices? I know for us,
622-3937.
in terms of the food for our companion animals, we have cats. We just basically shop around for the cheapest, the store that sells the food the cheapest. And so far we have found 2 places that are selling the tins of meat for $13, which is far exceeds the $16 that are being sold in other locations. So far we have found a solution, but again,
which is still ridiculous.
We still don't have an explanation as to why the price of cat food keeps rising. And I'm sure it's the same for dog food.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. The annual day, Mr. Drat. You hear me?
Go ahead, sir. Yes, we are.
All right. Mr. Drat, I'm now here. You were in the military. I was up my sir.
You're sounding very muffled, boy.
All right, just now. Hold on. I admire you, right? As being a member of the Trinidad and Tobago Regiment, right?
Thank you, sir.
Right, and you make you come out online and you said you make a mistake, a great mistake in the army by following wrong people that smoking. But if a person smoking weed, which is a no-no in the army, I feel because I give all a break because not everybody have the intention to do wrong.
Right.
And look how you make a big change in life. I wish the superiors could see these little petty crime and work on these things,
Yes.
And then too, listen to me very good, The Prime Minister say you want officers to vet and you want officers to body cam like how we have in America. If I come like what that situation was shown in the building in St. Paul's, if we have body cam, you could actually know the confrontation what taking place. So you have an idea what caused it, so you know exactly how to deal with the situation. But when I hear President Dixon, the president of the association, saying they want to body cam, even Alexander and all, when they ask that question to Alexander on the tape, they may want to body cam.
Dixon said that?
Something about you,
Dixon
all
said that too?
It tells me something about him,
Just now, hold on, caller. Did you say Gideon Dixon said that as well?
Yes. No, well, when they're talking about having body cam for the officers and them, like he have a problem, with the officers wearing body cam, getting body cam now.
Yes.
So
what is it they're afraid of? So I don't understand why they're running scared of the body cameras like that.
Well, listen, let me tell you something. I was an officer. Anytime you don't want these things, it means to tell me you are in collusion with corruption. You'll do anything under the table because you're not trustworthy to yourself. And I was always say, if I catch you, because the government paying you to train you, and anytime you break the law, you should be getting 64 years. because the money that the government paying you for the training and you doing things like that, the government send you up the road one time. That's what I believe in.
All right, Kola. Thank you, my brother.
But as you, I admire you and your madam, and may God richly bless and keep you. I wish we could have taken you back in the service.
Yeah.
I wish I could have talked to the seniors and let them take you back in the service. And listen to me, you remember Mr. Manning had special trained officers that they put to guard them. I was one of the officers and them.
Okay.
That is disband the unit.
Right, okay.
I was one of the officers and them.
Right.
And the kind of training I get from the British outside there, I just sit down, I do security now, and I just sit down and watch the officer. And some police come to me, and I just say, listen to me, give me your full name when they come to my company. Don't give me a half name because not half you're pregnant. I want your full name. Let's do it, yeah? Because they are trained in the right way, but when they get in the service, it's a different color now. You have a nice day.
All right, thank you.
Very much for
Chopin, put back up the pictures, please, right, of the people who intend to join the police service. Put back up the pictures. You can leave it up so that people who just joining us could see, and they can assist the police in identifying these individuals if they are not suitable to join the service. Hello, good morning.
Miss Pearl, Pearl has suggested that we can move to a country area so cats can hunt and eat birds. We live in a residential neighborhood and they do that. We have birds where we live.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Yeah, the morning one of them cause a snake. You talk, we don't come to the country for that. You can see the long snake. And I will pray you don't run inside with it. Not me.
Good morning there. I just would like to refute what that gentleman said just now pertaining to Alexander. He never said that he didn't like the body cams.
Okay.
What he had stated at the time of the program is that the body cams that he had brought was not, it wasn't fitted in properly on the uniforms.
Okay.
Because he had showed us when people were running, it was dropping and that sort of thing. It was not that he was against the body cams, but the type of body cam chosen. So if they get the specific body cam that can fit onto the uniform, so when you are running or in pursuit, that it will not drop and fall on and cause a hindrance. That is it. He's never stated that he was against the body cam.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Well, then again, how much money did we spend on those body cams?
Well, that I don't know.
And you didn't carry somebody to...
Probably they should have had somebody better researched, done a better research of the body cam.
The procurement process fell down there, clearly.
Exactly. So it's not to say that they are against the body cams, it's just the type of body cam selected.
Okay, understood.
Best.
Gotcha. Thank you for clearing that up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello, good morning. 622-3937. Good morning.
Morning. That's why the procurement, like the lady mentioned there, procurement is necessary. You don't go and buy body cams in Radio Shack. You have to buy, and this is the part of the problem. There are a lot of square pegs in wrong hole. There are a lot of people doing a procurement and don't know there's something from the elbow. So it is where you have, and that is a big part of the problem within the public services sector. That is why sometimes they have to go to the private sector, but you have to get the quality that is necessary. It's the same thing like when they procured laptops in this country. I ain't going politics here, but it's the quality. A lot of them ended up on the laptop heap because
I heard that.
They were of poor quality.
Yeah.
But coming back to we be speaking about, I have a pet that's a parrot, and I took that parrot to the vet, and the vet told me, listen, these parrots, these birds are custom living in the wild. We should not be giving them these sunflower seeds.
Yes.
Give them fruit. Give them this. Give them that. So this buying cat food and thing out there, I have no issue with that, but we had dogs, and we never buy no dog food. We people, some people are lazy. We're speaking about the prices going high. People wouldn't buy their pet food. They can go and buy a pet rice. And that pet rice, growing up, we used to pick rice.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that?
Yeah. Yep.
We used to pick rice in this country.
Yes.
Before, you wasn't getting this parboiled thing where you're getting there now where, you don't have to pick no rice. But the pet rice and stuff like that, make your own dog food. But coming back quickly to the police service and the recruitment process.
the thing is that while you are, when you leave the service, you are at my time, you were on a 2-year probationary period after you passed out. During that probationary period, the commissioner of police could dismiss you, you know.
Understood. Yeah, understood.
Yeah. Okay, so it means that you are always being scrutinized by special branch. Before you go in, you are being scrutinized while you're in the service. How that worked, how well it worked, how well it's working now, I'm not quite sure. So in the absence of that now, we have where the polygraph testing is going to be necessary to come in and polygraph recruits. Because, you know, a lot of these recruits, yes, their faces are up there, but some of them, to get into the service, you have seen where many times some of them are charged for bringing false papers. You know, they're coming in the recruitment process with forged documents.
So that's the irony of that whole thing.
You understand? So it's a continuum. You have to continue vetting these people all the way through.
Thank you, Kola.
Before you go, Kola,
go ahead.
just to say that cats are a little different to dogs because they have a very specific diet. They are obligate carnivores and stuff.
I understand. So anytime you domesticate them, I understand.
Hey, Kola,
cooking food for dogs is one thing, but you can't really prepare food for cats.
So how cats
and ensure can you wait and ensure that it has the nutritional balance that they need as domestic companion animals.
Cat can eat sardines? Are you taking my cat sardines?
Yes, but it does not have taurine in it.
Kola, when I grew up, we had a cat for 100 years. And the cat never
do not take on that, Sinclair. Thank you very much, Kola.
Thanks. Yeah, Kola. People.
Oh God!
We had a cat that lived for almost 100 years, and that cat never seen no food. That guy eat off of what we eat. When we finish, we just put it in a bowl, and the cat stood and crunch up all the bowl, and the cat was strong like hell.
That was in 1962. We are 2024, and they deserve better, right?
We had a cat can fight a pit bull. Because I no fancy food, no feline and all them kind of thing. No feline, them cat jumping off tree and all kind of.
God, it is 11:59. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Natasha.
Morning.
But the time I was trying to get onto your whole time the program.
Who is this?
Concerning a protection order that.
A protection order?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
you mean with the minister for gender affairs, or is that?
What happened is I have one out, right? And my son have even problem here. And I called the police this morning, and when they come, they're telling me they get also easy wrong one then, and telling me I had to take out a exclusion to get him out of the house now, which I did already, right? And up to now, I ain't get no response for that. And they're telling me that they can't do anything, lock him up, because he got drinking and coming here drunk and cussing and threatening us in here.
And he breaching the protection order?
I have the protection order. They actually this morning when they come and show them it, they take it and read it. And they say, well, them can't lock you up and I can't lock you out of the house. I said, well, I didn't lock him out of the house. He just go party every night or every other night, drink, come home drunk, and cuss and get on inside and threaten us. Right? And they're telling me, well, no, anytime he come, I have to open the door for him. I say getting on in that matter and threatening us, look, the protection order, they never take it and read it. So I want to know, and I take all the exclusion order this month, the 5th of this month, and up to now I ain't getting no response from the court, because we had to do it online. I don't know how to do it, but my daughter is going through it for me. But up to now, we ain't get no response to that. I don't know if, God forbid, they're waiting for something to happen, then to act.
Kola, do something for me.
Give me a little light on that, what to do.
Kola, do me a favor, please. Kola, do me
Yeah.
a favor. Could you call downstairs and leave your number, and I will call you.
What's the number to call downstairs, please?
628-495.
628?
628-49.
No, that's what I'm write it down here. Right, 628
49
4955.
628-4955.
Yeah, when to call, please.
All right. We could call now and leave the number. Call now.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks very much.
So, folks, that's where we are. You see, look, the extra confirming here. That's true. The dog and cat ate after we finished. and we had a dog named Bullet. You talk about speed, Bullet can outrun anything. And Bullet never eat no Purina chow. So it's only now
I mean,
that get sophisticated. Even fish are not. I don't know if somebody come up with that. Long time we catch fish and you put them in pipe water and they fish last long now. No, you have to get.
We were wrong. All of those years we were wrong.
We were wrong.
Yes.
And
yes, we were wrong.
Folks, thank you very much for joining us. Remember to see the start of this program or you go back to our Facebook or YouTube channel and remember there's the lineup. Or you can go on the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Facebook page and do the same and help your country, recruit good officers for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. All right?
Yes.
Just before we go, there's cats now and rats hanging out.
Thank you.
Cats and
Listen, she talking about, let me sell them out. Listen to me. Cockroach, them will lie down behind it. Cockroach passing.
Because they're no longer obligated to hunt.
They're no longer obligated
because
to
they're
hunt.
living by
So
us.
what
They're
is the
not.
use?
They're not wild. They're not feral. They are companion animals, Garth.
Gary, what is the use of having a cat, right? And it's a time she go in the bathroom and hears she scream, cockroach, right? Coco line up right there, wanted she jumping and dancing the maypole. And Coco move. I say, look at that. All the food you eating, and you can run on a cockroach.
No, you're too heavy.
And Thierry on top of the table watching, and the next one sleeping. And she going crazy with a cockroach, and none of them ain't doing nothing. But you're feeding them expensive food. Get them food off the table.
Some rats in the neighborhood where I live there by the bin. And them cats in them in the neighborhood would sit down in front of the bin, and the rats in them would be running all on the...
Will you make it? I see rat running down, cat and all kind of thing, no, and cat running on it and balling and thing.
Thank you very much, folks, for joining us. We will see you again next week.
I tell you,
Up next, news at 12 with Kyle Saunders. Good afternoon.